All right, welcome everyone. How's sound check here? Sound looking at the back, little low. If I come forward, are we good? Looking to the back. All right, welcome. Thank you, RVAsec, for having me. Thank you all for joining me in my talk here, Defending Against the Deep. I'm going to dive right in. My name's Tucker Mahan. I'm infamous for forgetting to introduce myself, and there goes my cable again. I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but because of that, I queued up my assistant, Tucker 2.0, to help me out here. So I'm going to let
Hi,
my intro.
I'm Tucker. Briefly, I'm a career switcher who found a passion for all things technology. I tinker and DIY a lot of projects and really enjoy getting hands-on with the latest technology out there. I started my journey as an apprentice at Max Potential, where I have worked on development projects, managed DLP, SOC, and data analyst teams, and now lead our emerging technology research and development efforts.
All right, so that was entirely AI generated. That is my friend Tucker 2.0. Aside from a few moments of or hand movements that were a little off, it was pretty decent there. I would say maybe I should let him run the show here today, except that was probably a little quiet. So we'll move on. Defending Against the Deep, what an AI generated title I have here. What does that even mean? What are we diving into? We're going to start off with a little overview about what we mean when we say generative or AI-generated media. Then we're going to go into an interactive quiz. We're going to test your abilities to detect AI. We're going to demo some of the current capabilities and see the quickness and where this tech really is currently. And then we're going to talk strategies for developing your team to be able to detect this technology. So ground terms here. We've got AI. I'm using that as an umbrella term here for any computer system capable of doing human tasks. AI-generated media, I mean content created with the assistance of those AI technologies. Multimodality, just a fancy term for saying it does text, it does image, audio, and video. Diving back in history a little bit, how we got here, it all started with trying to break some codes, steal some information. Turing and the Enigma turned into this AI thought. There's been research papers slowly but surely throughout the past several decades. And what really changed the game was 2017 when Google Brain's team announced their research paper on transformer architecture. That's what made everything that we're seeing today possible. And since then, we've seen the AI evolvement really grow rapidly. Now we're sprinting to even keep up. This on screen, you can't see it, but it is all of the models that are coming out from the top, 2018, down to the bottom today. And as you can sort of tell, they were starting to come out monthly, and now they're really coming out, they started coming out like one every month or so, and now they're really coming out multiple per month. So we're really struggling to keep up. There's a competition for market share going on right now, and what we're really noticing is that generative AI is becoming table stakes. Every product that we see is getting it baked in, the software as a service products, and it is becoming table stakes for anyone seeking a job right now. Some of you may have heard this quote come up before, that you won't be replaced by AI, but by someone using AI. That's because AI is making people more effective at doing their jobs when they're using it efficiently. So jumping into another common quote out there, and because I like to check my own bias, I think AI is everywhere already. There's this stat that I've seen. Raise your hands if you've heard this stat before. 90% of the internet will be AI generated by 2025 or 2026. Show of hands. A few people. Okay. So I am in emerging tech. I do see a lot of fun stuff out there. The reason I like this stat is because I dug a little bit deeper, and if you Google this stat, you will get a Google AI summary saying how real this stat is. You'll get dozens of links on the front page of Google quoting this stat. And when you go to any of those links, they'll point you back to a statistic on a Europool report that actually the quote says some experts predict that as much as 90% of online content could be synthetically generated within a few years, all right? That's a lot of qualifiers, disclaimers to make that stat true, no matter what. When you dig a little bit deeper, some experts is actually one expert. He runs an AI-generated video content company, so he has a little bit of stake in the game of creating more AI content out there. But it just goes to show there is, I think one thing we can agree on is that there is an increase, a rise in the amount of AI-generated content that will be coming out in the next several years. And so AI is increasing. Why do we care about that? Now that I've totally broken your trust on stats, I've got some stats for you from Ernst & Young, the 2024 Human Risk in Cybersecurity Survey. They say these are all plus or minus 3%, but the first one up here, many workers are not confident that they are using AI responsibly or able to use AI responsibly. As a leader in this space, that worries me. We need to be using AI responsibly if we want to use it at all, so we need to make sure that we have training in place. Next stat up here is that majority of our workers want more regular training updates. They want to stay engaged with AI content. They want to know what the latest is. So we need to be producing training materials around this content. Next up, a majority of workers believe that AI is sophisticating the level of the cybersecurity attacks that we're seeing. Now that's, workers believe that they're getting more sophisticated, so I pulled someone else in. Google research paper does say that there is an increase in the effectiveness and the scale that we will be seeing of social engineering and phishing attempts based on the use of generative AI. So with that, let's dive into some recent attacks. Let's look at what's really happening out there. And I'm going to focus on believable AI video generation and the customized phishing, smishing, phishing attacks. So first one up here is believable AI deepfake. You all are probably familiar with Elon Musk here. He's constantly
any registration,
out there.
You can directly deposit any amount of Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Dogecoin. It's important to do this during...
So he's out there talking about Dogecoin. That's not actually him. I'm not talking about the deepfake of celebrities or political figures. I'm talking about stuff that's actually affecting our companies. So recently, big headline, $25 million deepfake scam victim. How is that even possible? Right? That's where this technology is coming in to affect our companies and what we need to be thinking about when we're increasing our security awareness programs. So imagine a really good phishing email, one of the best out there. There's very hardly any errors that might elude you to the fact that it's phishing, aside from the fact that the CFO is telling you to dump a bunch of money somewhere. But in addition to this phishing attack, there's also an invite to a Zoom call. And you join this Zoom call with the CFO and several other business leaders. And those are all deepfake streamed versions of those leaders. And so now you're believing that your CFO is on a Zoom call with you, telling you the urgency of responding to this email asking for money. And that is how they were able to get a $25 million scam victim. So it's happening. Next up in the audio zone, you may have heard of this attack, MGM. Took a $100 million hit. The thing that's well known is that it was a ransomware attack. Lesser known is where it started. The primary attack vector on this was vishing. And so they took cloned audio voices. They called into a support desk as those voice clones. They asked the support desk to reset their credentials, convinced the support desk to reset credentials. Those reset credentials gave them access to admin credentialed accounts that then they were able to use to do even more damage, create their own authentication systems, and ultimately launch this ransomware. And that started as vishing, the use of AI-generated audio. So it's happening out there. There's plenty to talk about there. Really, these breaches will continue. It's going to be critical to understand how to prepare for these new AI age attacks. I think trust is going to be paramount as something that we need to protect. And one of the best ways that I see forward for protecting of this comes back to training. As you see on the graphic here, there's some slides there. What it's really saying is that people who are more familiar with AI-generated content or AI AI enthusiasts, it calls them, are more likely to detect whether something is AI or not. So the more you're interacting with this type of content, the more likely you are to figure out whether it's real or not. That's a real human. Previous one was an AI-generated human. So training is important. At Max Potential, we're conducting regular surveys with our team now and seeing very similar results to that survey. So over 50% of the median score of our company is over 50% for guessing correctly AI or not. And we're also seeing that the folks who are using AI more are doing better at detecting whether something is AI or not. With that, let's dive into our own little AI detection quiz here. There's instructions on screen. If you can go to slido.com, that number will come back up in a second when we're actually on a question, but I'm going to flip to our first question. This is 2 pieces of text. At least one of them is entirely AI generated. I used my own prompt to create it. I'm going to leave these on screen for a second here, let everyone process them. Think in your mind, which one is AI? Do you think it's A or B? Which one is AI? Now I'm going to pull up our Slido. So, did everyone get a chance? I can flip back. And the number will pop up. Yeah, 4234121. All right, we're growing in mass here. 36 respondents, 40. Looks like B is taking the lead here, up to 45 responses. B keeps growing. I don't know if that's because I just said it's growing. Here we go. Is it B? No. A. A was the AI-generated text there. Now, B could have, full disclaimer, B could have had some AI generation. It was directly from OWASP.org. I do not maintain that website. I don't know if they're using AI or not. But if you had Googled B or searched it, you would have found that text verbatim in your first Google search to be able to determine that that was, in fact, the real text up there rather than the AI-generated one. And I bring that up because search is going to be increasingly important to help us sort of spot text. Text is becoming increasingly hard to tell the difference. A lot of our apprentices, when we quizzed them, when we quizzed, we asked, what made you select the answers that you did? And common responses were, I picked the longest one because AI is verbose. I picked the more formal one because AI doesn't know how to speak to a layperson. Those things are no longer necessarily true. If you are prompting AI efficiently, you can say, be concise in your response, or keep it under 3 sentences. You can give it very specific directives that no longer make this AI is verbose myth true, that make this AI is too formal. You can ask it to speak like a layperson. So text is becoming difficult to discern, and AI detectors are not great at it. Think about it. We're asking AI to spot if AI is AI. AI to spot if AI is AI, right? We know AI hallucinates. We know AI gets it wrong. We can't rely on AI to determine if something's AI or not. It's not effective. Even the best ones out there make both type 1 and type 2 errors. I lost my screen again. It's okay. But they make both type 1 and type 2 errors, both thinking that human text is AI and AI text is human. So using Google or a search tool to figure out whether something may be AI or not is useful. Imagine you get an SMS phish, a smish, right? And you go and Google that. I think Virginia Credit Union has been sending them galore lately. I've been getting lots of smish from Virginia Credit Union. When I go and Google Virginia Credit Union said I need to do this thing, I see lots of other people reporting the exact same thing. That's one of my best ways to detect if something's AI and attacking me or not at this point because AI is becoming so believable. Our next example, now I really do need my screen to work with me. At Max Potential, we run an internship simulator where we have a help desk running with interns. We generate fake user cases, and interns are able to respond to those. We have users, agents that are responding as if they are a persona. One of these is from our simulated help desk. One of these is from a real help desk. Which user do we think is AI? While you're reading, we do that so that we can train interns in a safe, protected environment where they can respond to our AI agents. We're fully transparent about it. They know they're talking to AI, but it creates realistic training opportunities for them. All right, I'm going to go to the Slido. That should open the poll for you. What do we think, A or B? All right, I'm seeing about 50 responses. We're a little split on this one. B is in the lead there. It is A again. So our laptop or our MacBook running slow, that was entirely generated by agents that we built to train our interns. So again, with the text is becoming more and more difficult to discern. The other point I like to bring up here is your ticket queue, is your support queue, is your help desk prepared to prevent spam? Imagine if I took my agent and found the public email that can create tickets in your help desk and sent it from various email addresses, and I created 1,000 help desk tickets. What would your help desk be throwing their arms up, unable to determine which one's real, especially if my agent's responding to them like a real person? It's another open area that generative AI creates as a risk for us. Moving on to images here. I have two images on screen, A and B. Again, the question's going to be, which one is AI? When you've got your answer, go ahead and open the next button for you. Wow, we are 50-50 here. It is a coin toss. I agree with you. Now, I have some advantage. I can point out these things after the fact, after I've zoomed in on them, and I might be able to zoom on screen. Let's see how well this goes. But teeth. This guy has extra, I think, canines there, and the bottom row of teeth are a little jacked a bit. I think his eyes are different colors, and his hairline has two peaks. I don't think that's common. It could be. I wouldn't blame anyone. I'm not judging, but that's how I spot that one. Next question, A or B? Come on, I really need this HDMI to work with me. All right, A or B? And go ahead and proceed into the Slido. All right, this one seems to have a front runner. We're at 63 and a majority over on A. And I think I've got you again. I know, A looked really fake. But in B, we've got a splotch at the top of her part there that is like a watermark looking thing. Her ear and hair physics don't really make sense. Like when you zoom in, this is another one where I have the advantage by being able to be close with it, but the hair doesn't fall right. There's some weird lines that cut horizontally in her smile. And then one last one that really gets me is her shoulder. And like, this could just be a weird angle that they took the photo from, but her shoulder starts a little high for where her neck leads to. So if you like really dig into these, you can spot them. Again, image detection, images are getting better. The dangers here are that people are able to use these images on things like their resume. They're able to apply for jobs under these images with fake names, fake resumes. This is happening. People are applying to jobs. There are fake candidates in your pool. And being able to detect these things is important. It also goes to biometric scanners, facial scanners. Some of the ways to notice are lighting detection. We've covered a few of these. Metadata might still be able to point out some of them when they are created with an AI tool and nothing happens after that. But artifacts, repetitive patterns, these are some of the ways you can try to detect images. They are getting better, but they still have a lot of AI features, we'll call them, that help you. Now this next question, when we polled our company, this audio sample, only 30% of our company was able to detect the real version of my voice. So 30% was able to get it right. You've been listening to me for about 21 minutes now. Let's see how you do. I'm gonna go ahead and try and play, maybe. I have to come up here.
Hello, my name is Tucker.
Oh, I'll play that again.
Hello, my name is Tucker.
So that's A. And hello, my name is Tucker. That's B. Say which one B again? Oh, both of them? All right. Here's A.
Hello, my name is Tucker.
Hello, my name is Tucker. All right, I'm flipping over. Let's see. All right, we're up at our 60-70 number. I'm gonna call that a tie. I think half of you were able to figure out which one was me. It was A. All right, it was A, and that is where our team at work was unable to figure me out. I think the reason why a lot of people pick B is because A has those breathy sounds that pick up from feedback from a microphone, right? That makes it sound real and human. It would happen on a Zoom call if we were interacting every once in a while. So A sounds really human. That said, I recorded it from a cheap microphone, so it did pick up all of those sounds and then replicated them and does so every so frequently. Now that is a way to spot A as the fake in longer segments of audio. I also asked my wife for help on this one because I was like, how do I teach people how to spot which one's not me? And she said that it was the pronunciation of my name and that I was a little bit deeper than how I standardly talk that pointed it out to her. And so I sum that up as the more you know someone, the better you'll be able to detect whether they are real or not. So context matters. If you think someone that you know is trying to fish you as fake, I would trust your instincts there a little bit more. Other things that you can spot in audio detection of AI is the emphasis. You might put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. I have an audio of me saying emphasis in a video that I created. It was a 30-minute video. Because it went so long, it just changed my voice on a few words. It was really weird. Pitch. The pitch variance, depending on what you use to train your model, will be different. Pauses might not be realistic. You may pause a little bit longer or shorter in AI. Your accent may change. So, fun fact, our accents change all the time. We're constantly evolving our accents as we go through life. The more we spend time with people, the more we pick up on the accents near us. So our accents are constantly changing. To get a perfect version of your current state, you need current recording data to train a model. Human interactions, a lot of the ways that audio is used is in these phishing attacks. So one of the best ways to spot the fake is by trying to trip it up while you're talking to it. Give it questions that it wouldn't be able to come up with an answer to quickly on the fly. Moving on to video, our final frontier here. And this one, I'm gonna let you in. There's gonna be 4 selections on the quiz, either left, right, both, or neither. Again, we're looking for AI. So are both sides of this neither, left, or right, the AI version?
In the early days of computer programming, a significant historical anecdote is known as Grace Hopper and the Bug. In 1947, at Harvard University.
Play it one more time.
In the early days of computer programming, a significant historical anecdote is known as Grace Hopper and the Bug. In 1947, at Harvard University.
All right, let me jump to our,
In the early days of
oops, sorry. Here's our quiz, left, right, both, or neither. Which one is AI? All right, y'all figured out my quiz. Is neither gonna grow? Is it left or right? You figured it pretty quickly. It is both. The blinking, the repetition of the hand motion that was consistently, no matter what the words were, it didn't make sense. If my words were doing this, it wouldn't make sense for me to make this motion right now. If I was saying, yes, you should absolutely do something, I'm not making this motion, right? You know, those are the things that exist in some of our AI video that help us spot them. And yeah, moving on, there's other things. Again, metadata, where you created the video, may exist. Lighting may be off. Same as audio, or same as images, really. Except in video, there's these unnatural movements, this inconsistent motion. And again, when you're interacting with these, when you're on a Zoom call with the CFO and it's actually a deep fake, look for realistic interactions. Would someone really take that long to respond to your question? Those are going to be how you pick these people out. And it is getting to the point where you can live stream some of this deep fake. It can generate in real time. There's, again, papers coming out every month that are advancing this field. So that's it for our quiz. Now I'd like to show how we can leverage this technology to enhance our security awareness training. I'm a big fan of this tech, as much as I know how risky it is, but I really think that it serves a purpose to help us do a lot of stuff faster. So starting with a technical demo on video, this is a ton of tools out there. I put this up there to show there's so many in this space. I'm gonna focus on HeyGen, and this is why I've left my browser up for so long, because I do have HeyGen up here, ready to go. And what I've got loaded here on my HeyGen account is their URL to ads generator, but I'm gonna feed it the OWASP project top 10 URL and ask it to generate a video. And just like that, it gave me a product description for what I'm coming up with. It pulled out the logo, it pulled out some image assets. All looks good to me. I'm just gonna breeze right through this next. Now it wants me to figure out who I'm targeting this to. So let's say I want to build this for application developers or web developers, really. I want web developers to know the OWASP top 10 so we stop leaving websites vulnerable. So let's build that video. And then I'm going to hit next. And now it's generating the script for me. I don't have to do any of this work here. And it's come up with 4 different scripts that I can choose from. And let's say I don't like any of these. I'm actually going to go and pull up my own GPT Omni, and I'm going to ask, write a script emphasizing the importance of application developers learning the OWASP Top 10. And Omni verbose because I didn't tell it to be concise. So I go back, I need like a 30-second script and none of the scene details. Like I just want to be able to copy and paste this into my tool, and it came up with a better version. But now I wanted a list of what the top 10 are in the video. So I want this guy or Yao on screen to iterate what the top 10 are. Cool. It updated my script. Now the problem here is that this is the 2017 OWASP Top 10. There is 2021. And this reiterates the importance of the human in the loop and using these tools in your lane. So using these tools for good in the spaces where you're credible, not using these to replace your learning, but to advance your pace of creating stuff. All right? So I took this script, and I've already got a video keyed up here. For purposes here, this just goes to next. It then will pick someone for me and line them all up, show me the classic creator influencer style. So I've got Darren here loaded, ready to go.
Hey team, it's crucial for us as developers to learn the OWASP Top 10. These are the most critical security risks to web applications today. 1, broken access control. 2, cryptographic failures. 3, injection. 4, insecure design. 5, security misconfiguration. 6, vulnerable and outdated components. 7, identification and authentication failures. 8, software and data integrity failures. 9, security logging and monitoring failures. 10, server-side request forgery. Understanding them helps us build more secure software, protect user data, and avoid costly breaches. By integrating these security practices, we safeguard our applications and reputation. Let's commit to mastering the OWASP Top 10 and make security a priority in our development process.
All right, so it had some of those gestures. He was a little weird. But in less than 2 minutes, we now have a TikTok-style video that reiterates the importance of the OWASP Top 10 that we can share to our company feed immediately, right? And that's helpful to get this content out quickly, especially when content continues to advance, right? So kind of cool use case there, and it did most of the generation for me on that. Let's see. I am going to have to skip a bunch of slides. I prepared for the Wi-Fi not working with me.
Hey team, it's crucial for us.
All right. One other example that I have here pulled up is earlier I mentioned that the research is coming along in this space, that things are getting better, quicker, able to live stream. This is based on a research paper that I believe Microsoft put out where they're
will prevent those cavities from getting worse and prevent new cavities. Just because you treat cavities, it doesn't mean they can't get cavities in any other tooth or around those other cavities. Why did the cavities happen in the first place?
And what's happening there is that they're now decoupling the motion movements of the body from the face itself, and that enables them to basically create the same motion and use it multiple times, which speeds up how quick these things are able to generate and create video for us. This is what's going to make the live streaming possible, as we're seeing in the cases like the Zoom and the big deep fake
Will
breach.
prevent those cavities.
All right, jumping into audio. This is another fun one. And this one, I have a friendly volunteer. Kim Mahan has not volunteered, given consent. Kim Mahan has plenty of content out there. Kim has given many talks. Oh, sorry, what was that? Oh, yeah. Plenty of tools out here. I'm working with 11 labs, but there's many. I try a lot of them. So Kim Mahan, lots of content out there. What I did in advance, I went and watched some of those YouTube videos, and I recorded a voice memo on my phone. I'm low tech here. I just took a voice memo of YouTube clips of Kim Mahan talking. And I took about 6 minutes of video. And then I took it over to 11 Labs, and I said, let me add a new instant voice cloning, and I dragged my clips into this, and I hit generate. Now, it does take like a minute to generate, so I did this in advance, again, not knowing about Wi-Fi. But here's Kim 2, that again has 3 clips, 2 minutes each of video, and I'm going to ask Kim to say something we say at Max Potential often, although Max does have 2 X's, but having worked with this tech, it would pronounce Max X Potential if I ran it with our 2 X's. Let's go ahead, generate speech.
Welcome. At Max Potential, we believe that you learn best by doing, lead best by example, and most importantly, reach back and pay it forward.
And anyone that knows Kim, that sounds pretty much like her. There are some uncanny characteristics there, but it was that quick to create this. And the only thing that it asked me to do in the creation process was check a box that said, I have this person's consent to make this, and that they will kill my account if they find out I'm doing bad, which is crazy. This tech is out there, people are using it. It's really easy to make a good clone, and it doesn't take a lot of voice to do so. Now, translations and dubbing. This is a big opportunity area in AI-generated video. These are now becoming a one-step process. So translations used to be one part of it. You had to translate audio to a different language, and then you had to do this dubbing process of making the lips match with the new voice. This is now a one-step process, and again, there's several tools out there for doing it. I'm going back to HeyGen, where I've already got it queued up. I have my video, I've uploaded it. I can just pick whatever languages I want to translate this video in. I can pick multiples at the same time, hit confirm submission, and it will go and run and generate these videos. Now, rather than wait for it to generate, because again, they take a minute or so per video, longer if it's a longer length, I do have our website pulled up where I've got a blog article here where I've got some preloaded that I've run. So here's one of my earlier clone versions, speaking Russian.
Взаимодействие с дипфейками в видео и аудио. Поскольку большая часть нашей повседневной жизни проходит в цифровом мире, пришло время осознать, что теперь весь цифровой контент может быть поддельным.
Do I have anyone that speaks Russian? Or any votes for languages from the audience? You can do Spanish. I speak a little. All right, I speak a little Spanish.
Para detectar deepfakes, interactuar con ellos en video y audio es clave. En nuestro mundo digital, todo el contenido podría ser falso.
It's nuances that will catch you every time, but
native speakers, I think, will catch on, especially if it's different. It's all like U.S., right? You take a person from Texas to Boston.
yeah,
Bostonians are going to know, hey, you're not from around here. So it's that nuance.
it's a little bit of nuance. Yeah, my wife is a native Spanish speaker. She was flabbergasted at how good this was. It's crazy. There is nuance. It's just a lot. Now, there is a big conversation here, and because of that nuance, there's this trust factor here. So while I'm okay putting it out there that I can speak all these languages because I know I can't, I say I can't, I have a disclaimer on there. One of our customers actually is a big health system, and we were doing some translation services for them with their videos. But one of their biggest factors was trust of the doctors. Imagine if you were on a health system website, you were seeking out a doctor's care, and you go to their website, you say, I want an appointment, you hear that doctor on that website speaking your native language, and you're all in, I can't wait to see this doctor. And you show up and they don't speak a lick of that language. Broken trust, right? That's not good. So there is that There's accessibility, though. How quickly do we make some content more accessible by being able to translate so quickly? And there's this balancing act that's happening that I think is, use case specific. Now, limitations. I've glossed over a few. We've talked about a few of the mannerisms, the ways to spot. Some other limitations I'd like to call out are this length of content. Again, the longer you try to generate, the more AI is right now going to fall back on repetition of patterns, and so the easier it will be to detect. There's quality of input, garbage in, garbage out. The better quality your input, the better quality the clone will be. When I shot some of my clones, I'm using 4K resolution with green screen so that I get the ultimate quality video coming out. On others, I've shot a quick from my webcam, and those ones, they look all right, but they're still not that high touch or high quality, easy to detect that it's not me. Also on quality of input, that means one of the fears that instantly came to me was, when you get a robocall and you're answering and you don't know who's on the other end and you're sitting there and you're like, hello? 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 Is anyone there? What if they're recording you and they take that clip and they duplicate it and duplicate it and duplicate it till they have the 2 minutes of content? So that's a use case that I was terrified of, and I had to go and find out for myself. I do have my voice done doing that style, and I'll go and, sorry, let me find my tool. Pick my Tucker phone 2.0 voice. Let's use the same max speech because it's loaded here.
Welcome. At Max Potential, we believe that you learn best by doing, lead best by example, and most importantly, reach back and pay it forward.
So it had some likeness. I can detect a little bit of myself, but it sounds like I'm trying to do a voice or like I'm putting on a show or trying to be funny. So it's not quite there. It may get there, but right now the tech is definitely not at that level of sophistication where you have to worry about a 15-second recording of you turning into the ultimate clone that can attack your company. All right, so we've talked about a lot of the current capabilities, what's out there. Now, how do we prevent that $25 million scam or that $100 million hit? How do we empower our workforce to do this? And I'm going to talk about what we've been doing at Max. So at Max Potential, we're focused in 3 key areas. First is AI awareness. We're bringing AI content forward often. We're doing these quizzes, we're gamifying it, we're making it competitive. Who doesn't love a shout out for being able to guess the most AI correctly, right? So AI awareness, oh, wow, don't advance so far. AI awareness, continuous learning, and adaptation. This is part of our culture at Max Potential. We are one of continuous learning. We do apprenticeship. We teach people on the job. And so we already have this baked into our culture. And we make sure that we're iterating that you won't be replaced by AI, but by those using AI to our apprentices so that they're getting hands-on with this tech. They're adapting, they're learning. We also are using this tech heavily internally. We believe in this systemize the predictable so you can humanize the exceptional quote out there. So one of my goals by the end of the year is to automate 2080 hours or a full-time person per year by the end of the year. And being able to do so that we automate the mundane out of the way so that people can focus on being truly exceptional on the things that do require human input. We need humans to do judgment, not move data from one spreadsheet to another. The other thing that we're doing at Max Potential is balancing the demonstrations with hands-on learning. So I've talked a lot about our hands-on learning approach, but we're also building out our content libraries. We're building out password management videos, training videos. We're making sure that they don't look as cheap and knockoff necessarily as those 2-minute videos, although we wouldn't avoid those completely. But we're building out our content library to provide access to this learning material. And we're doing that because the build versus buy equation here has really changed a lot thanks to generative AI. So it used to cost a ton of money to go and build your own content libraries, to really build out what you want your cybersecurity training program to look like. Now it's a lot quicker, a lot faster, and a lot cheaper to be able to build out that content. That I have some time for Q&A.
I appreciate the fact that you're focusing on the workforce. One of the challenges we have is family of the workforce, right? And so, any thoughts on how I guess we could create the same scripts for someone of, say, hey, create a script for me that would be, that teens would use, like their nuances and their own words, especially TikTok, where, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. What's?
Yeah, it's a random thought, sorry.
All right.
So, I'll just get, the political theater right now is amazing. And so I wonder if, in your thoughts, foretelling potentially is, do you think deepfake AI will be used in TikTok to influence upcoming elections, upcoming, the whole issue with, Rafi, all these things that are coming out, where influencers, AI influencers, are now really being used?
Sure. So yeah, the question for everyone else, in case you couldn't hear, do I think that AI, deepfake AI is going to be used on TikTok, on platforms, to influence sort of the election cycle? Are influencers going to be talking, are AI influencers going to be talking stuff that isn't necessarily true? Absolutely. I 1000% believe it's already happening. If I scroll Twitter and see videos, I'm often seeing videos and being like, that really looks exactly like a video I've created using HeyGen, the circle and the background, and it just looks too fake. That is, I'm getting better at spotting these things, and I see them all over the place already.
So how do we train our youth to be able to do exactly what you're doing?
So how do we train our youth to do what we're doing? I think it's leading by example. It's showing them how to take what you've seen, interpret it, Google it, look it up a little bit more, or I keep going to search it now since OpenAI is rumored to have a search tool soon. But search it, search that idea, search a little bit deeper, search another layer deeper, right? Ask your questions and ask yourself some questions. And we teach them questions that they can ask themselves, like, what would someone want me to see this for, and what would they want me to feel? And it's putting out content like that I think will help influence the youth to really think critically. I think critical thinking is the utmost, most important skill of this AI generation stuff coming out. So.
I would also add senior citizens are probably more vulnerable.
Senior citizens, sure. I see it too, yeah. Any other questions?
Great job.
All right.